the little things have so much meaning in the bigger picture. It's important for consumers to feel the emotion you put into something, even if they don't get exactly where it's coming from.
Laity is an indie worship band from Lynchburg, Virginia. In this video, we're going to take a look at the title track from their latest album, Let Yourself Be Loved. The core arrangement of the song can be broken down into 5 layers. So let's start with synth. The song opens with some nice warm synth pads, creating an intimate mood which supports the lyrics in the first verse. As the song develops, more layers are introduced, building into a wall of 30 layers of synths. Each synth element exists to support the meaning of the song, but also expresses the spiritual journey of the producer. For Danny, production itself is an art form containing hidden meanings that are personal to him. The organ sound symbolizes his experience growing up in a conservative Christian environment with a choir and organ. However, at the same time, he felt a longing inside to express his heart and love for God in dance and shouts, which are symbolized through the wild, distorted synthesizer sounds that complement the organ. To complete the journey, Danny also added 3 shofar sounds throughout the song to point to his experience now worshipping in a charismatic church. Next, we move on to the guitars. There are both electric and acoustic guitars recorded on this track. The panning of these guitars slowly builds out to the right and left, culminating in a lead guitar part panned fully left and right on the bridge of the song. For the bridge section, Danny uses a Vox AC30 model cranked all the way to the max for extra impact. Moving on to the bass. This track is made up of both acoustic bass and synth bass. The acoustic bass brings rhythm that runs throughout the whole track, coupled alongside a synth bass that is there to build impact and warmth. The bass line played on a Moog Sub 37 is composed of 4 mono tracks panned to left and right, one slightly pitched below the key and one slightly pitched above the key to complement each other. An additional arpeggio synth bass layer was added using a Juno synth to sit below the main bass layer and add movement. Moving on to the drums. The drums are purposely kept sparse, which allows the listener to focus on the lyrics. We're slowly introduced to the drums using hi-hat hits and an 808 snare. There's also a reverb tambourine sound which adds extra interest. The drums help support the movement of the song with a sub-drop sound leading into a highly mixed kick drum. Towards the end of the song, Danny contrasts the clean drum samples with an iPhone recording of a drum kit taken from the original demo of the song. The final layer of the song is the vocals.
I've read about how you love me, stories of scars on your hands.
I wrote the song over the period of like 2.5 years. And that first verse is basically the culmination of that 2.5 years of like questioning if I'm good enough for God's love, if I'm like worthy of Him, like struggling with it. And I like all my tattoos are about that concept too. It's just like just like trying to understand like the love of God, like an unconditional love.
So when you throw your arms around me, it's hard to accept your love.
We were sitting at our piano, and I was just playing the chords on that piano, and I sang that verse, and he like stopped me. He was like, wait, I have something, and like just sits on the couch, maybe 5 minutes, types out something on his phone, and he's like, okay, play it again. It was just like a really beautiful prophetic moment where all of the words just came straight out.
You don't know my heartbeat if you think
starts to get really crazy because he has 3 different stanzas, and each stanza he sings, there's a harmony introduced. So the first harmony is a falsetto above, which is symbolic of Holy Spirit. And so there's 3 of those that come in, one on the left, one in the center, one on the right, the same exact way. And then the last stanza, there's a lower harmony that is symbolizing God the Father. And so by the end of the song, like the end of his verse, there's 9 different vocals. So you have in the stereo width from left to right, you have the Trinity, but then in the harmonies from top to bottom, you also have the Trinity.
Don't get lost in your head, don't be anxious, don't be frightened. I'm your rock, I'm your salvation.